These are developers working on, various projects across the continent. We have developers from, Kenya, Angola, Ghana, and Nigeria. I think I would just like to, open the floor and have them maybe, come on board, introduce themselves. And as they do that, I would like to open the floor as well to Alex, who'll be my co-host as well, to take it from here as well. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you very much, David. So my name is Matu, and I'm a partner here at BitK. And I want to thank everyone who has shown up today to this session that I know we will learn quite a lot on what's happening in this space, and from our very experienced developers who are with us today. So maybe I'd ask David, first of all, to mention a few of the players in the industry. I can see Chima is here. Welcome, Chima. David, do you see someone, maybe, some of our guests here? Chuta, I can see Chuta is here.
Yes. Yeah, so welcome. Yeah, we have quite a number of people who are quite instrumental on the continent. So we have Chuta from the Blockchain Nigeria community. I can see we have some guys from Zen Finance as well. We have guys from Angola, quite a big project as well from there. We have guys from Kotani as well, from Kenya. So we have quite a number. As they join us, maybe I can continue to give a shout out to them as well.
All right, amazing. So I think we get straight to it. I will ask our developers to unmute themselves, Akshit, Peter, Jamo, Steve, Silas as well. So I'd like to start with Akshit to introduce yourself, the project you're working on, maybe briefly tell us how you got into blockchain development, and anything you'd like us to know about the projects you're working on. Welcome, Akshit.
And hi, everyone. Hi, the African community. I really like and delighted to be a part of here in the meeting. So I will introduce myself. I'm a blockchain developer of having past 2.5 years of experience. And I started in 2018 with the development and freelancing on Ethereum blockchain. And I do have expertise on NFT marketplaces, building NFT marketplaces, DeFi systems, and the ERC20 tokens in the initial phases. So after then, in 2020, I switched to the development on Binance Smart Chain as well, Tron, and recently, as the layer 2 solution is getting hyped right now, so I've also switched to Polygon network to build the layer 2 solution so that people can do transaction with very less gas fees. So that's basically my introduction. Right?
All right, thank you very much. So, so your forte here is mainnet development as well as L2 or Polygon?
Correct.
Awesome. So audiences, take note of that, yeah? Right now, the L2 projects are coming up in quite a high, there's a lot that's getting built on L2. There's a lot of hype around that at the moment. So I'm sure we'll have questions around that. Let me also now welcome Steve from Celo. Steve, with you here.
Hi, thanks, Alex. So my name is Steve. I'm currently the CTO and co-founder of Kotani Pay. My main focus is on blockchain for fintech and DeFi. So my background is I got into blockchain around 2017, so that's around 4 years. I was working on the node validation side of the EOS blockchain. Then we moved and a couple of other blockchains, including Icon, Telos, and the like. then moved into with Earth Global, where we did a number of hackathons. So I've worked extensively with Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, a bit with MATIC before they renamed to Polygon, and then now moved to Celo, which is an EVM compatible blockchain, similar to Ethereum, with their focus on the identity layer and the stable coins, which became for me was a big point because of the speed of transactions and things and the identity.
Amazing. So we'll go straight to Silas. Is Silas around?
Hello, everyone. My name is Silas Oga, software engineer. I've had up to 5 years plus experience in programming, and I've been more in the academic space, training. And recently, I started out with building blockchain solutions like 3 years ago. I do not extensively, but doing more of teaching and assisting in several projects, basically freelancing. But presently, I do more of extensive works with Solana blockchain. So that's basically how far I've been involved with blockchain development as well.
All right. And you're based in Ghana, right?
No, I'm based in Nigeria.
Nigeria. Oh, awesome.
Yeah, Nigeria.
For some reason, I thought Ghana.
Okay.
All right. So Solana is in the house, as you heard from Silas. Let's move to Peter. Peter, is you around?
Yeah, hi everyone. So my name is Peter Okwara. I work at IOTA Foundation. There I'm a software developer. Our work there is in the trade and logistics side, where we are building something known as the TLIP, a trade logistics and information platform to assist traders to export their goods. My background in blockchain technology starts around 2018, 2019, when I got into the EOS protocol. And over there, we were doing infrastructure management, we are doing trainings, educating people on how to develop on the EOS blockchain. Then, so for a while, I've been working for the IOTA Foundation. And recently, I started doing some research into DeFi, and I got into Binance Smart Chain. And so, yeah, most of my research is based on the Binance Smart Chain and how to develop on it and what kind of challenges we are facing currently in that chain.
Awesome. So welcome. I'll move on to the south of Africa, Angola, where we have Manuel and his team. Manuel, please introduce yourself and the project you're working on.
Okay, Matu. My name is Euclides Manuel. I'm from Angola, as you said. And I started the development of blockchain on Ethereum. And then personally, I moved to the Binance Smart Chain because I found that the Binance Smart Chain was a great way to start our project that we are working on, that is yet to swap a Pan-African protocol.
Amazing. So I can see Sean saying here, asking our devs to spell out some of these names. Probably for some of the names, when we pronounce them, they might not sound as someone typing them. So I think Manuel here is from Yet to Swap. So when we come back to him, he'll let us know. And please type in the devs. Please type in the names of your project so that people can start their own research on their end. Okay, so I think I'll go now to James.
Hello guys. Yeah, so
Hello.
I think I'm the youngest developer in the house. Okay, I joined the latest. Yeah, so I started blockchain development this year, at around February. Yeah, but a lot of action in there, learned a lot. Yeah, I've built amazing products so far. Yeah, so like I majorly do Ethereum. Yeah, I'm mostly in Ethereum, but recently we've been into BSC and currently we're into Solana. Yep. So in Ethereum we do a couple of things. Yeah, build a lot of bots and automation for the trading part of it, because mostly we are concerned with the trading part. Yeah, so we build ways of making it easier for for the traders to make the trading happen and make it super fast. Yeah, build a lot of products around that. Yeah, so currently we have been doing the same on BSC, but we are currently headed for Solana because, as you know, yeah, Solana is better with speed and it's more faster on the transactions. So yeah, that's where we're headed. Yeah, so that's a little introduction about myself. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, James. So with that, I think we've covered we've covered a good number of the devs who we were hosting today. Now, I'd like to go straight to the guys working on Ethereum mainnet. So I'll start with Akshit here. Akshit, what do you think is the major issue, you know, currently facing blockchain developers, you know, whether they're on Ethereum, BSC, whether they're developing on L2? What do you think is the main issue facing development in blockchain?
Okay. So actually the major issue which I am facing and even facing right now, even after means multi years of development, is basically the scaling solutions. Scaling solutions are not quite good even on the current blockchains. And I'm saying means even on the Binance Smart Chain, which is means basically is very means y-axisly layered solution as compared to Ethereum, but I am not sure that it is quite ready for still to tackle with the centralized finance, which are means processing around 40 or 50,000 transactions per second, just like Visa and MasterCard. So I think we are quite behind of it. Yeah, but we can also see that the pros or the advantage which it is offering, like the decentralization, anonymity, pseudo-anonymity, you can say, is quite substantial to move from centralized finance to a decentralized finance. So this is one of the major solution. And other is also like the people believe that the blockchain which they are using is quite decentralized, but I'm not sure it is decentralized. I will say that it is a myth which the people believe that it is quietly full decentralized, because you see actually the majority of the processing power or the transaction validation is being relied upon the validators, and you can say uh, the miners, which is quite centralized right now. Means the big companies, or as you can see in the recent times, the China, because actually the centralized power is mostly centralized on geographically based, means on central mainland China. So if in case China government shutdowns or pass any laws which can obstruct miners from working properly, so it can hamper also the validation, and also you can say uh, your transaction being processing correctly. It can hamper right now in the near future. So these are the problem which I'm facing.
All right. So I think I wanted to start with that question, because then that would lead us to see if other developers think that's the same thing they're facing on their own side. So I'll go to Steve, and I'd like to know some of these issues that Akshit has mentioned: scaling and decentralization. Is it something you're facing yourself on your development?
So thank you, Alex. So Decentralization has always been a challenge. There are two approaches you can look at this from a developer point and product point. So there, for any chain, and from my research, there are three main tenets. So there's security, scalability, and decentralization. You can only achieve two of them at a time. What Ethereum has mostly focused on is decentralization, which means it's not able to scale. And that's why they're looking for there too. One of the things, what the new protocols, if you look at Binance Smart Chain, if you look at Celo, what they are, even Plasma, what they are doing is they focus more on the scalability issue. And that's why they moved into proof of stake. So we can have a debate around which is better, proof of stake versus proof of work and all that. But for now, what I want to see is when it comes to a chain, like the cost of deploying a contract right now on Ethereum, you need a minimum of like $100 for a smallest smart contract, a token contract, which does not, which is quite expensive for any developer to start deploying. And that's on top of the execution cost. Currently, even a token transfer costs around about $8 to do the transaction. The advantage of the layer 2 and the other side chains, I would call them side chains such as Binance, because they use the EVM, which is the Ethereum virtual machine. So any contract that you can have on Ethereum can run on Binance, it can run on Celo, it can run on Polygon. So what they've done is they've scaled the cost of deployment. Like on Celo, it cost you about $2 to deploy a contract. Binance around $3, and then the operation cost is less than 10 cents of a dollar. So that makes it more affordable for the developer to run their application, one, and also for the interactions, you can actually experiment a bit more. Versus you find on Ethereum, most users will work on the test nets, like most of the time, whether it's Lobster and the like. So that has been the challenge. The test nets help with the testing, but the challenge with that is they usually reset after some time because then that data is not final. So if you are trying to cheat the system, at some point you'll find your data is lost. So you have to go to the mainnet, and that comes with the cost.
All right. So Manuel, amongst these issues that have been mentioned here, security, scalability, decentralization, what do you think is the most important for you personally as a developer? And what do you think is the most important for for project building in Africa?
Okay.
Or for project building for the African user?
Gotcha. In my personal opinion, I think that scalability is the most important. Especially for the new projects. Because most of the time what happens is we are news on the market. There is always a lot of competition, and you need to choose a network or a blockchain that will allow you to scale fast. And scale fast, it means that it is a blockchain that is cheaper and of course have a lot of incentives, like Binance Smart Chain. This is a blockchain that we choose it. Because in the beginning, we wanted to develop, me and Akshit, we want to develop Etoswap on the Ethereum. But then we saw that Ethereum blockchain is kind of expensive, like Steve said, the gas fees especially. And this is why we decided to go the Binance Smart Chain. Because in Binance Smart Chain, as you know, Binance Smart Chain was created by the biggest cryptocurrency exchange in the world. And they give an incentive of $100 million US for the best projects. And in addition to that, they are promoting a lot project that is coming, the newcomers on the Binance Smart Chain. So we saw this as an opportunity to develop our project. And as you can see right now, we chose this on December of the last year. And right now, Binance Smart Chain is making more transaction more than the Ethereum per day. And PancakeSwap is also competing with Uniswap. But the issue on the Binance Smart Chain is at the point that, as I actually said, that's the miners. So Right now on the Binance Smart Chain, there is only 21 validators. So it makes the network so centralized. And we have this issue on the community. There is some people complaining that Binance is kind of centralized and it's better to go to the other blockchains. But my personal opinion, even though there is only 21 validators, I believe that Binance Smart Chain is the best blockchain to scale first your project.
And maybe Manuel, back to you again. When you're building a project, are you building with the African user? Is the first user of this project, or are you looking outside there?
Actually, we are looking for African users because JetSwap is a Pan-African decentralized protocol. But we have also communities from India, from Indonesia, from Argentina and Brazil, Nigeria also. But in Africa, we have more in Nigeria, Ghana, and Benin. Of course, of Angola also. But we are looking more for communities in Africa. And the main point, and I talked with David some days ago also about it, is that the Binance Smart Chain is cheaper. So it means that for us as Africans, we always have some issue with money. And imagine you telling someone that you need to pay, you are making a transaction of $100 and you need to buy your new token. And you're saying to the person that he will pay $100, but he will pay also for the gas fees about 50 or more than 100 US dollars. This is too much for a new person in Africa. You are asking too much. The best thing is to say to Africans that you will pay $100, but you will pay less than $1 on the gas fees. This is why we chose it on the Binance Smart Chain. And even the community is supporting us on that point because of the high fees, the African community.
All right, so now I go to a different kind of developer here, James, who's building from a perspective of a trader, right? So building trading bots, front-running bots, and such things. So James, what kind of problems are you facing, and can you relate to some of these problems that developers of projects are also facing?
Okay, yeah. So on my end, what I would say, I would focus on Ethereum, the problems I'm facing on Ethereum while developing. So mostly it's around the transaction fees. As you can see, the transaction fees are always fluctuating, and a lot. Yeah, of recent you have seen a very high gases. Yeah, so like that's the main challenge we are getting at the moment, because as we develop, we don't test our bots on Robsten or Ring-B test networks. We always do it on the mainnet because we want to feel how it will be on the outside world, on the real world, like, because it's basically different when you do it on the testnet and when you do it on the mainnet. So I think the main issue we get with on our development is the gas fees. That's why we are moving to better chains like BSC and Solana. So like we are mostly focused on, we are headed to Solana for at the moment because it's way cheaper and it's way faster. As you know, like Solana is built on Rust. Yeah, and you know, it's super fast. Yeah, so yeah, the main issues is this the transaction fees on Ethereum. They are a bit challenging. So yeah, we are always looking for better options on that. Yeah, so that will be my main challenge I face as a developer on the Ethereum network. Yeah.
Awesome. So Steve, maybe you let us know when building Kotani, you know, what was the main thing that you were looking to solve with that project, and how does choosing the chain to build on the chain you chose, how was that the right chain, and what informed that decision?
Yeah, thank you. So one of the things I like to dispute about what Manuel said is saying Binance is like the most decentralized and all that. The reason for that is we came from an EOS chain. EOSIO, which was what was doing distributed proof of stake. The challenge with the using depots and POS is for the Binance kind, it's proof POA, which is proof of authority, is actually the miners become kind of centralized. That's now from a governance perspective. And this takes away the decentralization of a blockchain, which is similar to like one of my core beliefs is if you just want to use a blockchain, you can run a private chain. I think there are a couple out there and be able to achieve the same level of transactions without if you don't have no concern for decentralization. But if your main focus is on decentralization, which is the key component of blockchain, you need to look more details of the chain you're using beyond what they are selling you on paper. And one of the chain, they have one API which everyone has to connect. And we had Ethereum had a challenge with one of their API the other day, and that shows the limits which can come when you're using a specific API. So on top of that, I'll come into building of Cotani. So one of our focus was how can we cut costs and bring Cotani to the masses. And the main thing was the speed of transaction confirmation times, the cost of the transaction. So we looked across the spectrum. So our chain, our product has been built using the BIP39 standard, which allows to integrate with any of the chains. So you can actually take our product and integrate it onto Bitcoin. You can use it on Ethereum. You can use it on Binance. You can any of the BIP39 supported protocols, which is pretty much over 1,000 of the protocols that exist right now. So why we chose Celo was two things. One, the identity layer. Celo, when it was built from ground up, they borrowed a lot from the Ethereum because they used the Geth virtual machine, which is the Go version of Ethereum. But on top of it, they built the identity layer, which links the user's blockchain address to their phone number. So that enables like an ease of identity, because if you look at the African continent, most of us use our mobile phone number. Even our bank accounts, our mobile money are linked to that. So using that, it becomes very easy for people to integrate and use the same technology to work. And that's how we focused our product. Another thing is for Celo, it has a one block finality of transaction. That means like your transaction is always confirmed within 5 seconds. So this is faster than any other blockchain I know currently, but I'm free to be disputed on that. So within 5 seconds, your transaction is final and you don't have to wait. Ethereum, I think it's Ethereum is 10 minutes, whatever. BSC, it's about 3 blocks, which is about 15 seconds. And for exchanges, they take about 1 minute 50. So those are some of the considerations we look when you're building a financial product, because you want someone to send funds and immediately be able to confirm. At least 10 seconds is an understandable time span. So those were the things we looked at, and also the tooling in the space. So one of the advantages, because Celo borrows from Ethereum, all the tools that I can use on Ethereum, I can use them on Celo. And I think like actually you can build a smart contract, basically using like Truffle, which was one of the tools. Use it to deploy the same contract on Celo, to deploy it on Ethereum, deploy it on Binance Smart Chain by adding just 3 lines on the config file. So those are the advantage of that ecosystem. So I don't feel much like there's the need to go about which is better than the other. It's just about from a personal point of understanding what am I looking for from the chain.
All right, amazing. So Silas, I know you're working on Solana Hackathon. Is that so, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yes. So please tell us what that is all about, and also your choice for Solana. Is Solana your first choice when building, and what informs that?
Okay.
And
So
also, Silas, can we have your video on if it's possible, please?
sure.
All right. Great.
All right. All right. So basically, the Solana Hackathon is just an event organized by the Solana community with a motive or with the mission of drawing talents across the entire globe. Having people get to see the beauty of their blockchain system, particularly. So you come and contest. You show your wit. You show your talent as long as blockchain is concerned. What you can develop, what you can pull up. And there are incentives, there are rewards for it across the continent, Africa, Asia. So as for my choice for Solana, it's pretty fast, and the issue of scalability, they've been able to, which Manuel was trying to talk about, scalability being his first point of call. They've been able to introduce something called the POH, that's a proof of history. It's quite a concept for me when I particularly come across that. Imagine when you can basically scale your blockchain solutions horizontally. How do I so basically the issue of scalability, they've been able to tackle that, and for me that was a point of call. And aside the fact that their transactions are really pretty fast, fast transactions, scalability. To me, those are really my big point as far as the Solana blockchain is concerned, basically.
All right, and Silas, still on you in terms of support for African devs. Does Solana provide that support? Because I remember, I think there was a tweet
they've
back and forth some time back. Yeah, because towards the
they've got a community, and the community is quite responsive. At some point when I started out, I had so developing on Solana, I had a bit of challenge, especially coming from this part of the world where we've got, of course, basic challenges in Africa, which are quite generic. They've got a support. They are quite responsive, and the issue of support is one thing that I've seen that every project coming up, it's in a growth process, and they're still growing in terms of giving out. But their documentation, first and foremost, is well detailed. It's something, if you have an idea of what development is, that's the first point of call when you talk about support. What kind of documentation is out there, to enable people leverage on, pulling out a solution, and coupled with the fact that the technology, even Rust programming it's not easily accessible like some of us grew up knowing PHP and code. So the first point of support, which I feel they did well, was to come up with a good documentation, and the community is quite responsive. If you've got issues, they get to attend to you with a reasonable time frame.
All right, so Peter, Peter, can you talk maybe? I think Peter is working on YetoSwap as well. Let me just confirm.
No, Peter, no.
Peter's not that team.
For me.
Yeah. Go ahead, Peter.
I've been doing lots of research on Binance Smart Chain. Okay, my day-to-day job is on a different blockchain, which is IOTA blockchain, and I think I'll talk about challenges. The major challenges I've seen within the Binance Smart Chain is security. I've seen like almost like top close to even 10 hacks within the past few months that all are in the DeFi space, and all of them happen within the Binance Smart Chain. And when it comes to why these hacks are happening, it's either because number one, Binance has new developers. They may have few experienced Ethereum developers. They have new developers. So these developers may make mistakes that they actually cost millions. The recent hack I saw had $7.2 million being hacked in the Binance Smart Chain. So you have new developers joining in the Binance Smart Chain. That's number one. The other challenge I'm seeing is that you find someone forks a project from the main Ethereum network. Like, I think I'll talk about them, but you find like, let's say for example, a project like Pancake Bunny, and someone builds on it. You find like AutoShark and Marlin Labs. Those projects are forks of the project known as Pancake Bunny. And so what you see happens is that someone finds an exploit in the project, like it's called Pancake Bunny, and then he goes ahead and actually hacks these other projects because they have the same exploit and because they're using the same actual code. And other challenges, of course, like if someone clones another person's code, they don't do it so well, and they leave out some bits of code, and because of that, they end up being hacked. And also the other major thing I've been seeing in Binance Smart Chain is that the number one protocol that was hacked wasn't audited, and there are several projects within the DeFi space that haven't been audited by any company, and they have ended up being hacked. And also, you also find that some projects have been audited by given companies. Like you find there's one known as Haichi and there's one known as PeckShield. And despite being audited by these companies, they still end up being hacked. So I think it's something to do with how well these companies are doing the auditing process.
All right, so maybe touching on security, is it that these projects, the vulnerabilities are on these particular projects, or is this a feature of the native network that they build on?
I'll say I haven't seen any hack that targets the native network. The hacks are mainly because of, number one, the code, normally the code, yeah, because it's like I've seen one where like someone forked or copied code from Uniswap and then they forgot a single line of code that does some validation. And some hacker actually found that code and then exploited it. And of course, the other ones are just bugs in the code. So I haven't seen any compromise within the network. It's always something to do with the code. And yeah, also I would say that I've also seen a bit of complaints about the infrastructure in Binance. Like the infrastructure is not robust enough, but I've heard a little bit about it. Yeah.
All right. So actually, maybe let's talk on this issue of L2 coming up. There are also battles inside L2, so to speak. So there are various implementations of layer 2. Could you maybe mention some of those? I know there's rollups, there's the issue of side chains, there's wars around that, and wars here is in quotes, but there's money on the line. What would you say about that?
Okay, so actually the term layer 2, how it means resemble right now and why it is gaining popularity right now is basically only because of the limitation, scalability limitation of the layer 1 solution. So what you can say layer 1 is just take an example of Ethereum right now. So to do a transaction right now, I think just a basic ETH transfer also from one account to another account, I think it would take you around $30, even if you are transferring $1 or even if you are transferring millions of dollars. And it will take, depending on the gas utilization rate, it can take about hour or even means there are transactions which are being pending for even 2 days and they are not confirmed yet because of the gas fees grows exponentially due to the interaction with the blockchain. So to solve all these problems, a layer 2 solution has emerged right now. And what is layer 2 is actually the computation or all the logic execution would be done on a side chain, but the finality or the transaction submission would be on the layer 1 solution. So in this, what we are doing, we are taking leverage power of the layer 2 solution as doing a transaction fast and relying on the layer 1 solution as the security in terms of security. So just I will give you an example right now. Polygon blockchain, which is previously called MATIC blockchain, they have actually come with 2 layer 2 solutions. One is the plasma chain, which was actually proposed by Vitalik Buterin in 2015. And second is the POS bridge. So both of these layer 2 solution have their own advantages and disadvantages. As come to the plasma solution, what it does, it uses the leverage of smart contract on a layer 1 solution and Merkle trees and do the computation on a different child chain. Child chain, you can say the Polygon here in the case. So what you do, you submit a transaction on layer 1, but the logic, actually the execution of the smart contract, the calculation of the smart contract, which actually cost the gas, is being done on the child chain. In our case, the Polygon. So what it does, it creates a data tunnel between the both chain. So what it does, let's suppose you want to do a calculation of 1 plus 2. Let's suppose just a basic calculation. So on layer 1, you will pass these 2 values, 1 and 2. What it does, it gives this data to layer 2, means to the child chain, in our case Polygon, through a data tunnel, through a secure data tunnel, which is being managed by validators on both the chains. So as soon as we will receive the values 1 and 2 on our child chain, here on the layer 2, it will do the computation and it will calculate, and the result would be 3. And this 3 would then go back to the layer 1 solution through the data tunnel itself. And then the finalization would be on the layer 1. So we saves on the gas cost, because on the layer 2 solution on the Polygon right now, doing the same transaction as that of on Ethereum will cost you around 1 by 1,000. Means if you are paying $1 fees on Ethereum chain, you will have to pay not even a cent on the layer 2 solution. So this is actually the why layer 2 is hyping up. But even you can say it should be well implemented such that the data tunnel, which is transferring actually the data, couldn't be compromised in between by a hacker. So we are still relying on the validators on both the chain, so that all the transaction is being done securely. So while I am working on a POS for a layer 1 to layer 2 solution, there are some hiccups. Means we have to contact the validators on layer 2 solution to debug any transaction or something like that. So it is not seamless, But yeah, it is just gas cost and gas saving.
And do you think there's a compromise when it comes to security of the of these systems that are built on layer 2?
No, that's what I'm saying. The finality and the security is being managed by the layer 1, because actually the final transaction is being resubmitted to the layer 1, and over there, so all the data is being secured over the layer 1 solution by the security of layer 1, because in every case the layer 1 would have more validators or more to manage a single block. There is many computation is going on. So like you say, in MATIC currently, the Polygon is having 8 validators right now, and they are being managed by the MATIC community itself. But in the case of Ethereum, it is currently proof of work, and it is being secured by 78,000 validators right now. So we can rely on the security over there, but for the computation, we rely on the layer 2 solutions.
All right. So for Steve, who is building on Celo, has built on BSC and Ethereum as well. Are you looking also to or is there a need to take Cotani to layer 2?
So layer 2 basically helps with the issue of scaling, so cutting down costs and also, yeah, the gas fees and the transaction execution time. So with the Celo, it's already like a layer 2. You can think of it like a layer 2 because it basically imports everything that that Ethereum has. So I can actually run the same everything, the contract on the layer 2. What we are building currently are bridges between our Ethereum and Celo and other blockchains that will help, like so that, because more in terms of the community, because the main reason and one of the challenge I found, like with Polygon when they started out, is the community was not yet broad enough, meaning there were fewer transactions on that chain, and that means like even liquidity is low, because especially being a financial product, the liquidity of is low, and that creates things like slippage. So Celo for us was a good deal because the focus on the stable tokens and all that helps because they create the liquidity. So I would say that for us, what we are focusing on is creating bridges to the other networks, and instead of doing on there too, because we've sorted the challenges which are on Ethereum, which are mainly the cost and the speed of transactions. And
is Cotani up and running?
Yes, it is up and running. We've processed more than $100,000 in the last 4 months. So it's actually up and running, and for the last 6 months.
All right. So coming back to Manuel, I know your project is yet to launch. I think you're on the raising stage still. What do you think is in terms of mass adoption and getting your project to the man or woman on the ground here, on the streets of Lagos, streets of Nairobi, or streets of Angola? What's the most important thing as a developer to get a project to that level?
Okay, I think that as a developer, what we need to expand our project to northern geographies is trustness. And I think that you need to build a portfolio as a developer that someone can rely on you, that you are capable to develop such a project. And there is an issue on that, because what happens is a lot of developers, when we are building something, what we want to do is that we want just to develop. We don't want to work on marketing, because if you want other people to know your project, you need to marketing. You need to work a lot to make streaming, to make articles. And what happens is developers, we have, how can I say, a technical way to think, just technical. And this is an issue because what happens is the user doesn't want to know how technical you are. He doesn't want to know how beautiful your code is. This is a fact. And we need to also develop another skills that is selling. And this is a big issue for developers, especially for the newcomers, because you are facing with both challenges. This is, you need to develop and you need to market as well. So it means that you need to put double effort. And of course, this is challenging just only on the beginner, because you need to make almost everything. But this is why you need to work as a team. This is the advantage that is work as a team, that if you are a developer, you can trust on someone that may not be a developer that is working on the marketing, because there is not all developers have the right mind to market a project, not only in Africa but worldwide as well.
All right. So now, do you think the bigger project is the easier it is to market, or is it the other way around?
I think that there is no value of a gold if it is on the how can I say, under the sea. You know, there is no value on that gold, and people need to know your value. And we have this big problem with African projects, that we build something, but we are not known in the world. We see someone that is maybe anonymous coming, and you see the project is big in 1 month or something like that. But you go to check the team, but the team is anonymous. But we as Africans, we are always showing our faces. We are saying things, but we may not go mainstream. And the point is that market is very important, because when we are develop a project, we are spending time, we are spending energy, and also we are spending money. And you want this money to come back. Actually, the money is the thing that will allow our project to be on the market for the medium or for the long run. So I think, in my opinion, that market can be more important than development in some cases. In some cases, it can be more important, but in other cases, not too much, because as a developer, you can show to the market that your project is disruptive and can beat some blockchains. You have some competitive advantages, and it will scale first, even though you don't market, even though you don't spend a lot of money in marketing, your project can scale. But this case is only if you have a reputation on the market, a very big reputation. But if you don't have, you need to work very, very hard on marketing.
All right, so this is a question to all the devs. So we'll start with Peter, but it then goes to Steve and the rest of us. What's the biggest problem, or what project have you seen is solving or trying to solve a big problem on our continent when it comes to blockchain? So it can be your project, but I'd hope you mention another project probably.
Are you saying within the African continent, or?
Yes. Which product have you seen solving a big or important problem?
Okay, tough question to answer. I think I'll answer one that I've experienced within the DeFi space. I think it sounds cliche, but I think after using, what's it called on Binance, PancakeSwap, I think it's a good opportunity to get some really good yields in the amount of money you're getting. Because when I compare with the standard financial tools, like, for example, you have money market funds. Money market funds, they normally have an APY of around 8 to 9%. And the API I was getting in PancakeSwap was up to 50%, which is a big profit when I think of it. So I think, yeah, that's one opportunity that you can get in the blockchain space and the DeFi space.
So yield, yield generation, income generation.
Yeah, I think that has really changed my perspective in terms of when comparing traditional finance and decentralized finance. And you also have cases where, like in some countries, you put money in a bank and you're getting negative interest. It's a huge opportunity. The other thing is that also in that space, there's an opportunity for borrowing and lending. Okay. We haven't reached that space where you can borrow funds to, let's say, from a DeFi protocol to buy, let's say, a fridge or physical assets. But I think with time, it's something that will come. And especially in let's say, in our country where there's a boom in terms of loaning apps and people taking loans, it's the DeFi space provides like a very interesting opportunity. And yeah, that's really changed my mind on finance in general.
All right. So Steve, same question to you. Which project is solving an important problem on the continent?
All right, thank you so much. So I'll say Kotani Pay. This one being, we are looking at two tenets which are a major challenge. So one is access and the other one is transparency. In access, I mean in terms of getting funds to people who are unbanked. And so, and the focus has been using mobile money for one, and use USSD, which is accessible to even low-end users with feature phones. These are people, if you look at the majority of the market, like here in Kenya, about 57%, in Africa even more. A lot of people still don't have smartphones. So blockchains don't serve the purpose it's intended for them because it's not accessible because they don't have the right devices. The other problem we are solving is transparency. Transparency in terms of a transaction is traceable across from the source to the destination. So of course, within the scope of the privacy. So the other project I would say, and we work with them, is Impact Market. So Impact Market is a UBI-based UBI smart contract project, which basically enables to issue funds. Currently, we are working with around 5,000 users in Kakuma camp, giving them a daily UBI of about $1. And also in Christian camp in Ghana, and they usually receive about $1.50 on a daily basis. So all the users claim, and this creates the reason we had looked at this is how right now, and the NGO ecosystem is a multi-billion-dollar whatever industry, but 70% of the funds go to the administration of the NGOs rather than helping the individuals the funds were meant to. So using smart contracts, you can make that process more seamless and transparent and reduce the cost of the operations. And those are things which are real world applications, I feel, beyond what the DeFi ecosystem is trying to do and the traditional tokens, NFTs and the like. So for me, I feel those are the projects which have major impacts.
Manuel, you can go ahead.
Yes, can you say again, please?
So what project have you seen that is solving an important problem on the continent?
In Africa, we have many projects, and some that I know that are making some, a lot of big changes is Flutterwave from Nigeria. And they are allowing people to buy and sell cryptocurrencies, and they are, I think, they are on the top 50 most important companies in the world. There is one some recent rank that I think Flutterwave is there. There is AB Network, Afen, built on the Binance Smart Chain. Afen is working with some public institutions in Nigeria to make African arts as NFTs. And there is also some fintechs working, but I think that we still having a lot of space to build. We have a lot of space to build, and we as Africans, we need to make it because the market will not wait for us. But there is some projects working, of course, in another African countries that I may not know. I may not know right now.
All right, Akshit, same question to you.
Yeah. So actually, I'm from India, so I don't know enough about the African community, but yeah, I will tell you about the India and Asia community.
Awesome.
Yeah. So what actually means in the India, due to the crypto regulations and all that, so any payments or transaction with the cryptos are banned right now by the government. Yeah, but there are quite some blockchain solutions which are solving some of the major problems right now. So I will tell you about the MATIC blockchain. You would be surprised to know that the MATIC, or also known as Polygon, is actually Indian-based company. And now they are on the top 10 blockchains. So now in the recent time, what happened due to this COVID pandemic and all that, one of our state has partnered with Polygon blockchain to put all the COVID vaccination data. So suppose if X person is being vaccinated right now, all its information, that at what time he is being vaccinated, by which vaccine he is being vaccinated, and what is the next time for the next dose, and all these data are being saved in the Polygon blockchain via the smart contract. So it is quite a basic, real world solution, apart from the decentralized finance and centralized finance, which other is offering right now. So it is quite a real-time application. Also, another blockchain solution is called Casha. It's also an Indian-based company. And what they are doing, allowing you to lend or borrow your money based on your crypto holdings. So if you do have one Bitcoin, you can take the loan in terms of Indian rupees, the Indian currency, and you can use it for your own startups or anything. And you can pay back at a very minimal interest rate over the course of duration.
Interesting. So yeah, I think a lot of people actually don't know Polygon MATIC is a project out of India. Good for pointing that out. So in terms of new devs picking up what chain to build on, again, we start with you. This is a question for each of the developers. Which is the easiest chain to learn and build upon? Akshit, did you get the question?
Okay. Oh yeah. Sorry. So okay, yeah, I would say the Ethereum blockchain would be the best starter, as even all the developers who are there has eventually would have started from Ethereum blockchain because of the ecosystem or the community. You can gain very much, or even if you are having any doubts or anything, and even the solidity, which is based on JavaScript, is easier to learn as compared to the Rust or Golang language, which other blockchains are using. They are quite hard as they are more toward the different architecture. But JavaScript is a easier to learn language. And so that I think Ethereum would be a good chain to start with. And even you have a much more test network and multiple test network, which simulates same thing as compared to the main net. So you can test it over there also.
All right, all right. And I think some of these guys are asking the specific programming languages that they need to learn for I think you'd mentioned them. Maybe you can type them here, Akshit.
Yeah, sure. I will type.
Thank you very much. So I'll go to Manuel. You know, what of these chains has the easiest learning curve?
One of these?
Which of the chains or languages have the easiest learning curves to build on?
Okay. As actually said, I think that the most easy language is Solidity. There is a language that I started also on Ethereum and then on the Binance Smart Chain, because if you know, Binance Smart Chain is like a Solana, like Steve said. If you know Ethereum development, that will be easier to go the Binance Smart Chain also. You don't need to learn a new language. And there is a lot of content online, but the most important thing is to learn first web development. So if you don't know web development, don't rush, please. Learn first web development and then learn Solidity. You can find a lot of content online, even on the Solidity website to start with. But talking about some online courses, some of them are not so good. This is a fact, some of them. So you need to choose a good one. And in some cases, you may need to pay, and not pay cheap. You need to pay a high price to learn a great content. But I believe that Solidity is a great language to start with on the blockchain development, especially in Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain that we are building on.
All right, Steve, same question for you.
So I'll try classify. So on the blockchain development, there are 4 kinds of developers. So there are protocol developers, these dApps or smart contract developers, there's the Web3 backend, and then there's the front end, which is the normal like web developers. So on the protocol layer, you have basically we are building on the blockchain itself. We are developing or updating the blockchain. It's very technical and requires low-level language. This can be Rust, can be Git, or can be C++. So there are few developers on that layer because of the technicality. So most developers will come under the smart contract layer or the dApp layer, which basically you need the main language here is like for the 3, for whether it's Binance Smart Chain or MATIC or Ethereum or even Celo, it is Solidity. So that would be key. If you are developing on any of those 4 protocols, just run Solidity. The other layer will be the Web3 layer. So this is if you are just building a backend, can be like a bot or an engine where you need to interact directly with the smart contract, and you use like the Web3 libraries. This can be a JavaScript library or any of the upper layer languages, Python and the like, which have you, depending on the protocol you are working with, you can look for that specific library for that platform. Now, and the last part is front-end developers. These are developers who mostly do the user interface, can be a web interface, can be a mobile interface. So it's just also finding the library that interacts with that particular protocol and then interfacing with the backend. So depending on where you want to come in, you can decide where you want to start with your learning.
Amazing. So I'll finish with Peter. Then I can see Mr. Chuta has his hand up. So after Peter answers, Chuta, you have the floor.
I'd say there are 2 sides of the coin. So one is the application development, and the other one is the, you could call it DevOps side. So I think I'll start with DevOps side. So like for us, it's a special case. Like we have a need to create like private blockchains, And these private blockchains, they need to reside within the country because of GDPR. So that needs some skills in terms of being able to deploy a node and sync with other nodes. So I think that's one career path that is in the blockchain development. And that mostly requires knowledge about cloud and managing servers, things to do with Docker. And then there's the other side, which is application development. I strongly feel that web skills in terms of being able to build a front end and a back end, and also to choose like a database service are very important. And also being able to build a mobile app is also very important, because for every smart contract or that will deploy within a blockchain network, there needs to be a user interface, a UI. And that's where these front-end skills for web and these mobile apps come in. And yeah, also in some cases, you need some kind of backend and database to speed things up. So yeah, that's my opinion on that.
All right. So yeah, Mr. Chuta, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Matu. And thank you, David, for putting up such an awesome event. I tell you, this is one of the most progressive steps that we have taken across Africa at this time to, galvanize the energies that are out there among developers. I've always believed that Africa's problems will be solved by Africans. And that's why earlier in 2019 or thereabout, we started out on a quest to raise as many blockchain developers as we can, starting from Nigeria. And it has yielded a lot of results, because having seen the impact that the technology itself has potentially, it will not just work automatically, except you have the skilled men and women out there that can help build those solutions, because we have unique problems across Africa. I always tell people everywhere in Africa is basically the same, because we share the same kinds of problems. Go from Nigeria, go to Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, Botswana, is basically the same thing. And the lack of legacy systems with which would have competed with other developed countries has become a huge advantage for us, because we can rebuild all those things using a more secure, transparent, decentralized system which blockchain offers. So a big shout out to everyone that is doing it. I know the unique conditions that we all have to face as Africans. I mean, it takes 2 times or 3 times more commitment to be a developer coming from this part of the world than anywhere else, because I have, my background is software development, and I can tell you strongly that you're alone most of the time in this work. Okay, so I have just a few tips that I want to give out to most of you who are here, and then those who eventually get to know about these things that has happened today. So a few tips. First of all, I want to say be result-oriented. In other words, when you get involved to be a blockchain developer, be result-oriented. Be very, very clear about your intentions and what you want to accomplish as a developer in this industry, because this industry favors action takers. And it's not one of those industries that you will have to wait until you're paid before you could actually build something, because the ecosystem has a clear pathway to reward people who take steps to solve unique problems, even if nobody paid you when you are setting out. But as long as your project or your product is delivering value, the market is obligated to return with some reward for you. So I encourage you to be actually very, very result-oriented. Then many developers in the past, they have this habit of working in silos. In blockchain technology, community is king. And yes, you may not like to always engage in community discussions and all that, but working with a community has proven to be a very key driver for success for developers in this industry. Check everywhere that people have built anything of note. The community has always been the strongest support that they have. Look at what is going on in Ripple, for instance. Do you know what is, Ripple has raised a strong army of developers and people who are excited about their project. And it basically started with their community because several years ago, they spent time to build a community around their project. And that's also part of what helps people who are building on XRP platform to enjoy the benefit that community provides. Next, I also like to encourage us here to learn to teach what we already know. See, in this industry, there is nobody that can say that he is a Mr. Know-it-all. So when you learn how to teach what you already know, it opens yourself up to a great opportunity to learn a lot more than you don't even know. So if you stay with what you know and you're in silos and you're just sitting down there, you're just an expert, so to speak, on what you already know, there is a lot of ocean of knowledge that is out there that you could just be missing out just by refusing to share the knowledge that you already have. So learn to teach what you already know, because there are people who would like to learn from you. And trust me, the moment you start teaching, that's when you're going to be opening yourself for opportunity to learn far more than you could have even imagined. Then the next point I want to make also is, sometimes we don't understand the importance of reading codes, especially codes that other people wrote. It's extremely important and it has a great value for any developer. This industry is so open that, I mean, if you see a project that is doing very well, the good Lord made it possible for us to have GitHub, and it's required that most blockchain projects have to disclose their source code. I mean, form the habit of reading the codes of these successful projects, not just for you to glean the ideas, but also to look at the coding conventions that they have, put out there that has helped them so far. Because when you build and people can't read your code and they can't make out what you're doing, then it becomes difficult for people to help to improve it. And that is actually one of the things that has driven this industry thus far. Then finally, sign up to be a mentor. If it's possible, is another way of maintaining humility, because to mentor people, you will find that you really have to imbibe that humility, imbibe the humility aspect of life, so that you remain humble while teaching people who are probably not as smart as you at the beginning, and you have that tolerance to, attend to their questions, to, more or less take them by the hands into the murky waters that you have already passed. Okay, so these are things I just feel, let me just add to us, because we are all in this game together. And I believe that working together, we can do a lot more. And once again, I want to thank David and everyone that has helped to put together the event today. Matu, you've done a very great job moderating. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Uncle Chuta. So it's a word from the elders. I think we're almost coming to the end of the session. I'd also like to give the floor to Mr. Chima, who's CTO of Zen Finance, to share a word or two. Mr. Chima.
Okay. Good day, everyone. Nice to be here. So I'm Chima, CTO for Zen Finance. What we've done at Zen Finance is we enable people to save. It's a centralized finance platform, DeFi platform. We enable people to save and earn interest in stable currencies. So listening to the discussions from everyone, like I was really pleased to like meet a whole lot of developers and listen to everybody speak about the issues that that they faced and stuff like that, like using Ethereum, using Binance. Talking now about Solana, it's something that we've really like seen it play out. Like for example, when we are working or trying to deploy our smart contracts to start, that was around March, because our mainnet was launched in March. We had our test net running from November till January. And when we try to deploy our smart contracts on Ethereum, I mean, the full deployment of the contract is costing about $4,000, which is so high. And then we are trying to get people to save. And at the time, performing a single transaction on Ethereum was costing about maybe $30 to $50 per transaction. So you see, then it didn't make any sense. And we just chose to, move to Binance Smart Chain, which was very easy for us because it's EVM compatible. So just the same thing that we have on Ethereum, we moved it over to Binance Smart Chain. And if we check the cost of deployment for the whole smart contract was less than $200. That's exactly the same thing that we paid $4,000 for on Ethereum. And then the cost of transactions on Binance Smart Chain, even at the peak when it was, when the Binance BNB was around $600, you still have very low fees of about like 50 cents or less. Right now it's somewhere about 10 cents, 17 cents, thereabout on the average. So it's nice. Talking about projects, I think one big thing I would share here is, like Statuta rightly said, is community. So community is very, very important. And one of the major things that leads to success of a project is, having a good community and also having like good advisors that can advise you on what to do, on like who to hire, your marketing, how do you go about your marketing, where do you need to focus on right now. For example, right now you have the bear market, right? And everybody is trembling and saying, oh, okay, even those that bought Bitcoin around 50,000, they're like, oh, it's crashing, and then you sell off, and then the bull run will come back again. And maybe when it hits 100K, everybody starts coming back again, and the cycle repeats itself. So right now, the market is not so friendly. So what we do around this period is to like build your community, to show why your project is important, why we are building what you are building. That's the most important thing, because right now, I think the stage we are in, let's say blockchain development, can be likened to back when, the internet was just starting, right? So when it was just starting, it was very difficult. I mean, imagine people having to go and buy modem, and internet speeds then were about, let's say, 56 kbps. And so you can imagine what kinds of information you can transfer and how slow it was then. And fast forward 25 years, you see how much we have come. So anybody here in the space right now, you are at the beginning of the forefront of like the next, big thing. And so we as Africans, we have to be able to define what we want in this new internet of value, Web3, that has been created, or else we'll still keep playing by the rules. All the infrastructure right now around Web2, is being built by the Western world. You have everything you have from your Google search engine to your iPhone, your Android, your APIs that you use, a whole lot of them. Most of this infrastructure, okay, look at what we're using. We're using Zoom, right? It's American company, you have Google Meet. So all these are not really built by Africans, but this Web3 now is bringing out a new level platform. So whenever you are building a project or you're working on something, you'll be like, okay, what's it going to be in the next 5, 10 years, 15 years? How do we position ourselves to be like a leader? Because if we don't come and have a seat at the table right now, then when you come 5, 10 years later, you would only have to play by the rules that have already been set by the people that, you know, created or, you know, designed all the infrastructure. So I think those are my views about this. And I would like to thank David for organizing this. It's a great discussion. I'm pleased to meet a whole lot of people here. We'll also be connecting more with some of the developers here. Yetu Swap, I saw what they're doing and it's like very nice. It seems like a very nice project. So, and I've got to see some projects that I haven't heard of before. So, yeah, that's it. So, yeah, thank you, everyone. I just wanted to drop a few comments.
Thank you very much, Chima. Much appreciated. You know, for everyone who's looking to get into development, kindly reach out to our admins and we'll connect you to our guests today. Also, let me just mention that Chuta is running the African chapter for Solana Hackathon. He's a founder of Blockchain Nigeria User Group. I think I hadn't introduced him properly. And we're looking out to the projects that come out of Africa. And we here at BitK will promote them, we'll shout about them every other day. And we'll try to have anyone who's trying to connect, you know, with people who've done it or have made those steps. If you're looking to enter this space and you're looking to connect to the guys who've been doing this for a while now, please reach out to us. We'll be very, very happy to enable that. So thank you very much. And I'd like to say thank you also to the audience for showing up. We've had people stay all throughout this session, and that's really commendable and means that we were getting some value here. So once again, I thank you and wish you a very enjoyable weekend. Asante ni sana.